Okay, okay, yeah.
Okay, done.
You're able to hear my voice, right? Hello?
Yeah, we can able to hear your voice.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Yeah.
Yes, Steve. In the last session, yesterday we have discussed about like basics of like what is BPM, what are the advantages, why we are going for the BPM, and history of IBM BPM, how IBM BPM came into existence, how what is the difference between this IBM BPM and Lombardi. You are clear with that, no?
Yeah, yeah, basic is clear. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just I'm discussing about as a part of the introduction the BPM life cycle, like how the normal.
Jagdish, can you show me the curriculum or the course list which you will be going through? You will have the list, the topics will you will be covering in.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah, fine. I think you can get it from the Nirma or you can go through the website of like Texelate
Oh, okay, okay, right.
course. Okay,
Yeah.
or else I will share you after that.
Better you just me if you can walk me through the topic, so I will
Okay,
have an idea.
as a part of the yeah, like how we are approaching is like actually we do have like various components here. We do have like various components here. We are going with like one by one, starting from the basic component actually. Uh, so how to use each and every component individually, we will go with like starting, like how to create a small human service, how to create an integration service, some general service, some database integration. So like we are going with one by one, something like in this way.
Okay. No, no, what I'm saying is, if you can show me the topics and then tell me just a high level overview, one line each, so that I'll know the progress and what all is going to come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I am just showing here you. Here you can see in the sticky notes, or else
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will check the document and I will share you like after this session.
No, no, just tell me the topic and then
Okay.
what we are going
So
to
like
do,
how
that
the
basic
planning.
only to have a high level overview, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Okay. Now, as a starting like the as a part of as a start like we are going with like BPM introduction, and next we are going with like history of Lombardi,
Yes.
and after history of the Lombardi we are going with the topic what is this BPMN and why BPMs are following this notation, what is the history beyond this, and then we are going with like architecture of IBM BPM. In the architecture of IBM BPM, we do have like various consoles
Hmm.
like process center console, process admin console, process portal, performance admin console, process servers. So all this, each and every console, it will take like 1 month to like complete all the consoles. Once after the completion of all the consoles, so we are going to complete the complete theory part. So after that, we are going with like one more like starting with I will explain you like small leave application where you will come to know like how to pass the data from one service to other service. That means how to create some UI. When a user fills some data, how he can pass the data to some manager, so that manager can take some action on it, whether he can approve it or he can reject it. That small process we can see. After that, we can go with scripting. Actually, uh, wherever we want, we can use the components of IBM BPM, but followed by some piece of JavaScript. Like you need to write some JavaScript wherever it is required in order to validate the conditions, in order to write the business logic. We will use JavaScript. So we will use how I will explain you like what are the various types of scripting mechanism we will use. Like when it is of simple variables, what type of script you will get, and when it is like some complex variable, how to write a script. When it is of some array, how to write a script, how to work with like if else, how to work with like for loop. All scriptings we can take it one session. And in IBM BPM we do have like various variables. In variable section you do have like various variables like input variable, output variables, private variables. There is something called as EPVs, environment variables, resource bundle. These are like various different types of variables you can see in your IBM BPM. So we are going to discuss like in what scenario we should go with like EPV, in what scenario we should go with like ENV. It means environment variable. In what scenario you should go with like resource bundle, that we can discuss. Next, after that, there is some sub processes there. Sub process in the sense whenever in order to make it your BPD or high level process diagram much more look and feel and much more clear. So we are going with a sub process. We are reducing the complexity here in look and feel. So how to create a sub process we can see. Next, there is a requirement like my system is creating some case, and there should be two processes. One is creating the case, other is like processing the case. So okay, I do have to like two processes. How to call one process to other process? So that is linked process we can see.
Yes.
After that, we are going with some dynamic sub-process. Dynamic sub-process in the sense, linked process is a static actually. Static in the sense, in the linked process, like whatever the process I attach manually, the same process will keep on running. Like whenever my BPD1 call, if I attach BPD2, once after the completion of BPD1, where I attached the BPD2, it will automatically call the BPD2 in general linked process. But I'm going with like other type of process also we are going to discuss, that is dynamic sub process. That will depending upon the condition how I can change my linked process. Suppose if A equal to B, my BPD1 should be called. If A is greater than B, 2 should be called. If A is less than B, 3 should be called. So like in the runtime, how can you shift between like calling BPDs and called BPDs? That we can see. And next one we can go with like UCA. UCA stands for some undercover agent. Undercover agent in the sense like how to work with this undercover agent is like generally you will get like requirements like always we will be receiving data from the external systems only. Like some of the user or customer wants to change something, or he wants to update some details, or he want to apply for new credit card or debit card. At each and every time he is going to fill the form, and he is going to like, scan some of he is going to send some documents to the bank. Like what, there is some team will be there who is going to like scan and attach the documents. After the scanning and attaching the documents, there is like some other third party team will be there who is going to like transforming the information into some XML. After transforming the information into XML, they will put that XML message in one queue. In BPM we are calling that queue as event queue. Okay, once the message has been placed in that queue, how we can receive that message? Like how there is some UCA will be there, it will trigger, and once UCA get triggered, we are going to receive that message. Next, in that we are going to like write a logic like we are receiving XML, but we want to convert into our variables, our business variables. So how to do the conversion and how to pass the data to our BPD. So once after passing the BPD, we are just processing it. That UCA concept, there are two types. One is like standalone, other one is like time-based UCA. Time-based UCA in the sense there is a cache for you. You are been setting up the cache. You want to clear up the cache for at midnight or 12 o'clock. If there are something like some scheduled activities, you can go with like time-based usage. If something like somebody is posting the message in the BPM event queue, you don't know like when they are posting the message. So in such case, you will go with like event UCA. If it is some schedule, you will go with like time-based UCA. And there is also called as timer event. The next topic, timer event in the sense like how to work with the timer events. Timer events means you have a requirement. Requirement is like now I am working on like particular like user one is working on particular task. User two has to receive like after a delay of like 24 hours. So how to set up the delay? That is one way you can use. Other way of timer you can use like uh, if employee has to work, suppose employee and manager they are working on a support, or for example, so employee has to pick up whenever a ticket has been appeared in the inbox, employee has to pick up the ticket like within like half an hour of time. If it didn't pick it up for half an hour of time, it should be escalated to the manager. How to implement this escalation feature? We can go with this timer event. Next, auto coach. We can create a coach manually. Like you can directly like create a coach. You can drag and drop whatever the text fields you want. You can do the data mapping. But there is also like for simpler way, there is activity which will be there. So where you can generate a coach or UI automatically without like putting much more efforts. You can. It is a shortcut way is there. We can go with like how to work with that. Next, there is some two types of variables are there. Like there is a variable called as EPV. EPV is something called as business constant. Business constant in the sense when there is a discussions with the business, when the business says something like this, we are having some interest rate. Now the interest rate is 10% for housing loan, or in future it may change depending upon the RBI guidelines. We are going to change it. So in such case, we will take generally that variable as EPV. So generally EPV will be changed by admin console, but you have a requirement like you want to change the EPV from the code. When you run that particular code itself, EPV has to be updated. No need of contacting the administrator. If there is any such requirement, how to update the EPV from the code? Actually, like this, we included as a part of the curriculum. Like this, one of our student in his organization, he wants this logic. Actually, I also included as a part of our curriculum.
Okay.
Next one is gateway. Gateways are nothing but we need to take some condition, like based on the condition something should be happened. That means you are receiving something like in the business, like if manager approves, like it should go into one path. If manager rejects something, it should go in different path. So how to compare? Like there will be some gateway. It is also, we can say like decision box. So there are various types are there. Sometimes there is a requirement like I want to split, I am getting some data, I want to split it.
Yes.
So sometimes I want to join it. So how can I use like split and join? Sometimes I want like conditional join. So how I can do the conditional join? And we have like one requirement we got user is submitting some documents to the bank, like user has messed up some document. So like he will intimate to the like the person like supervisor or manager, like he is going to submit the document in 5 days. Okay, so there is two requirements. He can submit the documents in 5 days. Okay, so what you our manager will diarise or he will postpone the task to 5 days. Okay, if the user did not submit the document even after 5 days, there should be some other route has to be followed. But sometimes what happened, like you already diarized it to 5 days or he already postponed it to 5 days, but the user immediately on the next 2 days he has came up to the bank with the documents. So how he can cancel that postponed task? That also there is one gateway called as event gateway that we can see here. Next. Next, depending upon the business requirement, we are having like various ways of starting a process. We can start a process. Business says like, I want to expose some UI to my end user. Like he can directly access that UI. On filling up the UI, he will fill some details in the UI. Once he clicks on submit, my instance has to be created or my that particular process has to be started. Okay, that's fine. That we can implement. Okay, other business requirement is like we will post the message in the queue. Like whenever we post the message in the queue, it should trigger. That is one type of requirement. That way also we can start a BPD. Sometimes you will get like there is some third party like we use one REST API. So like how to start a BPD from REST API. If somebody wants like third party, that one like it will act as a broker. Like how to they are like using REST API as a mediator in order to like start your process. Like how can you start a process via REST API? Sometimes there is a requirement like via like somebody wants like somebody will ask you like I want your wisdom, so that what is my requirement is like uh, using your wisdom
Hmm.
I want to like start your process. So how to provide or how to expose your service as a visitor.
Okay.
So on clicking on the visitor, like on starting of the visitor, how your process will get initiated. Okay, next there is something called as event sub process we are going to discuss.
Hmm.
This event sub process is nothing but uh, like your main process is going on. Your main process is going on. Like there is if you want to like handle some exceptions, so like how will you handle the exception generally is like you will attach, if you are having like your main process, if you are having like 10 activities, you have to attach one exception event to all the 10 activities and you are catching that exception. That is one way. In event process we are having like we can handle the exceptions without doing any catching. That is one feature provided by the IBM. That is one way. And other way is like in event sub process we can go with like something called as ad hoc kind of thing. In 7.5.1 actually that is there. In 8.5 that got removed. Actually ad hoc event we are not using here. So
Hmm.
what is this means? Some user has applied for a loan. Like the loan is getting processed. One department has approved it. It is under other department. There is like parallel. There is some verification department who is doing the verification at the back end. So
Hmm.
at the last stage, like verification department came to know that the documents submitted by the user are like something like not a valid documents or fraud documents.
Hmm.
So verification department some close the case or they can directly cancel the loan request by running this events of process. No need of like approaching the concern team and saying like don't work on the particular task. The documents is submitted by the is no, that particular person is not valid. They no need of like informing them. They can cancel the document from their end. So how can they cancel the document from their end? We
Hmm.
can see here.
Okay.
Next, external implementation. This is for our understanding. Earlier whenever when people are using of IBM BPM like 7.5.1, then what happened like the major drawback of 7.5.1 is like the UI part is not that much of look and feel.
Hmm.
People are facing like lot many issues with the UI. Main issue is like UI is not that much of rich look and feel,
Hmm.
and second one is performance issue. The controls which are used by IBM BPM are some XSLT controls. So it is taking like if you are using more number of text fields in your UI, when you click on run, it is taking much more time to load. In order to like convert that XSLT, like it is taking back and much more time.
Hmm.
Now in 8.5, they replaced with some Dojo controls. So it is like something like plain HTML. So it is like there is won't be any performance issue in 8.5. So in 7.5, people are who are using like 7.5. Most of the companies are like
Hmm.
who are using as a most of the companies in India, what they are doing is like
Hmm.
they are using VPM for backend and they are implementing their screens in some other programming language by using Java or jQuery. So they have developed the screens in Java and jQuery and they want to connect VPM to that screens. So how can you, if there is something such requirement,
Hmm.
how can you work with that? How you connect your VPM to some external screens? There
Hmm.
is a concept called as external implementation is there. So the communication will be followed via like REST calls. So
Okay.
we will be using REST API in order to like call the external screens. Yeah, REST will act as an intermediate communication between them.
Hmm. Right.
Next one. Next one we can go with like some DB part. So actually like creation of DB is not our part. Generally like administrator will do, like your DBA will do. But as a part of our training, we are also like telling like explaining like how to create a DB, how to create a DB, like how to set up the primary key, how to set up the foreign key, how to set up like not null or nullable fields, so that you will understand like what is the uh,
Yeah.
different types of keys and all.
Yes.
So after that, actually like, okay, you are having some DB which is external to your system. It is not in your system, not in your internal DB, some external DB. So you need to, from BPM, you need to connect to that external DB. So how to connect to your external DB? Actually, when it is such a case, in BPM, there is something called as platform support team will be there, or environment support team. They will be working purely on WAS console. WAS stands for WebSphere Application Server, where our BPM will hosted. Actually, when you install BPM on your machine,
Yeah.
it actually like it will be hosted upon the WAS. It will like while creating it needs some server. By default, it will take the server WAS. Okay, in the WAS console, there is an option to create a JNDA connection. The JNDA stands for Java Naming Domain Interface.
Mm.
What is this JNDA is like? It will establish a connection between your external database and your BPM. So you can go with that JNDI, you can use that JNDI in your code so that you can establish a connection. So like generally this will be done by the admin, but as a part of the training we are seeing like how to establish the JNDI connection.
Yeah.
Next. Next one is like we are working with some database. So if you want to like get the data from database, I want to select some records from the database. How to get the data from database? We can see. Also like select the data from different tables. I don't want from single table. My requirement is like I want to select from different tables. So how to work in such case? Next, generate case ID. I got a requirement. In that requirement, they are saying uh, like whenever the customer sends some request, initially you have to generate some case ID, or initially you have to make it some unique reference number. I want unique reference number every time. I don't want duplicate. How to generate a unique reference number? My reference number something should be like this. Today's date is 18th December 2015. My reference number should be 18122015 followed by 6-digit random number. So on looking at the case ID itself, I can able to know like, okay, this got created on 18th. By looking at the case ID itself, I can understand, okay, this has been created, okay, on like 11th December, case has been created. So like by looking at this, I want to like I want to understand like when it was created, and it should always be unique. This date followed by 6-digit random number is my case ID. How to generate such a reference number if you are having like such requirement? Next, how to insert the data? Like you want to insert the data into like one table. How to go from your BPM? Next, you want to insert the data into like not into one table at same time. Like you, for example, there are 10 tables. There are 10 tables. How to insert the data into those 10 tables? Okay, fine. But hitting the database for 10 times is not recommendable command. So I want to hit the database only one time. We are having like such multiple execute connectors. Some Java connectors are available. So how to use that Java connectors? How to like insert all the data at one time into the database? That also we can see. Next one is update database. Yeah.
So for all the insert data list into DB, insert multiple data, do we need to write script here, or there is some
Yeah.
code in this we can do that?
Here we need to write the SQL query, and you need to write the parameters. Like what is the query, what are the parameters you are passing,
So let's say
and rest all will be taken care by
you are
Java connector.
inserting into a third-party database. Let's say you are inserting into Oracle or MySQL. So you have to write according to that, or how?
Yeah, see here, like you have to, okay, you have to write a normal query and followed by parameters. Only that's from our end. There are like some various connectors are being provided by the IBM. These are called as SQL execute statements. So these are the connectors which are inbuilt connectors provided by the IBM. You will use these connectors and you will just pass the data like what is the JNDA name, like what are the parameters. So this connectors will take care of like execution and all. So if it is like not a complex query, or if it is like simple query, if you want to write some select statement, you can complete that query in 10 minutes.
Let's say
It's like not.
it want to just update an existing record in the database.
Yeah, you can update.
Hmm.
So always you will use like if it is like single record, you can go with like execute statement.
Hmm.
If you want to update multiple records at the same time, you can go with like multiple execute statement.
So for that you need to query and then update, right? You need to find the unique key to identify record and then update it.
Yeah, right. You need to write a query for them
Hmm.
and you have to put the null checks. There are like two different types of updates we are going to discuss as a part of our curriculum.
Yeah.
One type of update is like so once we got such a requirement, actually like what we are doing is like we are having some fields in the database in our organization. There is something like address line 1, address line 2, address line 3, some pin code. So one of the user has updated address line 1. Address, these are all like like only address line 1 is mandatory. Address line 2, 3 are optional. So once the user has updated 1, 2, 3 and pin code, fine. So how we prepared our query is like, so if address line 1 he is sending, then only we are updating that field.
Hmm.
If you don't pass that address line 1, we are not updating the field actually.
Okay.
Okay. So like in that way we have implemented. In production we got some issue. Actually what happened, like for example, he has updated in such a way like address line 1 he has kept something like door number. In address line 2 he has kept something like some Magarapata. In address line 3 he has kept something like Pune.
Mhm.
Okay. Next, while he is updating, okay, he gave in the address line 1 some adapter. He don't know address line 2. He didn't give that. So in address line 3 he gave it as Pune. Okay. So what we did is like we just updated only what fields he has said. Now address is completely wrong. What the address now? Like first line is like Hadapsar, second line is Magarpatta, third one is like Pune. It is conflicting between the two different areas of Pune.
Mhm.
So like what happens, like it got conflict. So that was the issue. So what we did is like we have provided some flag where if the if user wants to, like, if there are two types of update. One type of update is if user pass the data, if user is passing the data, we are updating. I am updating the remaining fields as null. Other type is we don't want to update it as null. We want to like keep it same as it is. So two different types, like depending upon the requirement we are using. We are going to explain you as a part of the training how to work with like these two types of data, the two types of update statements. Next, Java integration. Java integration means like okay, some team has developed some code in Java. Like you want to implement the same code in the BPM. No need of like again creating the same code in the BPM. Like you can go with like Java integration. In the Java integration, no, like you will ask the Java team to provide a jar file. You can directly use the jar file and you directly use it. No need of like putting additional efforts again like creating the same code in BPM.
Okay.
Next, web service integration, there are two types are there. One is like inbound web service integration and second one is like outbound web service integration. Like you are exposing some data to your third party system, you are providing the visitor. When they use that, like it will be hitting your process and your process is getting initiated. That is one way. Second one is like you are going to implement something. So you are so some user has submitting paying some online payment, like you have to like go to some payment gateway.
Yeah.
So you want to hit the third party system.
Hmm.
After hitting the third party system by sending some request, you will be getting some response. So the third party system is simply providing us the visual URL, how to configure the visual URL in your BPM and how to get the response for a particular request, that we can see.
Okay.
Next,
So,
there are looping.
this web services what type of services we are using here? REST, SOAP, or like that?
What services?
Like REST or SOAP UI ones.
Yeah, yeah, REST, SOAP, UI, depending upon like if you are, it is some related to Visual, we are going with like SOAP. Like yes, REST is the lightweight. If you are going to interact with some other UIs, in such case, like you can go with like REST.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, there is something, some looping concepts are there, like simple looping and multi-instance looping. Like simple looping means something it want to be looped for like some particular like 10 times or 20 times. Multi-instance looping means there is some requirement is there. I have like 10 users, 10 managers are there on approving, like I need like at least 5 approvals from them. So if the 5 managers approves, then like I can go ahead with the further process. So how to implement such scenario, you can go with like multi-instance looping, and you can like do that. Next, exposing various ways of human service. Like you are creating some UI, like user will ask in different ways. User may ask like, I want to you expose that in my process portal, so that as a launch pad, so on clicking on it I will fill the details. So in such way he can ask, or he will say like, no, you can expose it as a admin console. So like administrator, on we will open admin console, on clicking on that this BPD has to be started. Okay, like we will expose in that way. And sometimes he may can say like, I want some dashboard has to be created by you. How to create the dashboard in your IBM BPM? So that is one way how to expose after creating some UI, how to expose it as a dashboard. So some users requirement, some business requirement will be like, they will say like, I want some requirement like, you should provide me some URL. On putting that URL in the browser, like in my browser itself, like the UI has to be opened. I will fill the details. So that is one type of exposing the human service. So these are like various ways of exposing the human service. We can see like how to work with such like how to, like if there is some such business requirement, how to like we can fulfill the business requirement, like various ways of exposing a human service. Next, team retrieval filters are there. So for example, you are applying some online product, like so suppose you are ordering for some electronic goods. So for you are ordering some household goods. So if you are ordering some for household goods, it should be assigned to only like household team. If you are ordering for some some electronic goods, it should be assigned to only like electronic goods team, but all are in the same team. But all the groups are in the same team. But how to like but depending upon the uh, input entered by the user, how you can change it depending upon the entered user data entered by the user. How can you change dynamically the participant group or teams who are working on it, that we can see. Okay, next one is like, this is like one of the student are asking me different question. Next one is XML conversion. There are like various ways of XML conversion. Suppose if you are receiving some XML, like how to convert that XML to like how to convert that XML to our business object. We do have like XPath conversion. We are also having an option like something called as serializer. Like how we will be working with like two ways of converting that XML, and we are also working with some part of like uh, PostViews. PostViews are nothing but the reusable templates, where we can like, this is one of the feature which you can see in like eight versions. This is not available in 7 versions. Like once some UI has been developed, so the same UI is going to be used by some other team also wants to use the same UI. No need to like develop the same UI, they can reuse it. So if you implement that as a coach use, so how to reuse it, how to implement the coach use, we can see that. Okay, next, we can also work like how to work with like Ajax. So like there is some requirement. Like I have like 2 drop downs. Like in the above drop down, I do have like some countries. In the below drop down, I do have like some states. Like on selecting the appropriate country, my states has to be populated. So how to like how to implement like such type of implementation. And there is also called as something called as
Like for
modify
Ajax,
task.
sorry, for Ajax, is it out of the box or you have to write a script for that?
No, it is not out of the box. In IBM only we have they have provided this Ajax feature. Okay, in the runtime you can call the Ajax.
Okay.
Okay. There is something called as modify task and postpone task features are also there. Modify task, postpone task in the sense like you can suppose like it has been assigned to some user of your particular group, like you are the manager of that group, but some user has picked up the task, so it is in his inbox, but he went on leave. but it is getting like late for the user wants to that to be completed, but the the colleague who picked up the task is on leave. So how the as a manager, how can you like take that task and reassign to some other person of your team? How we can implement such scenario?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how to like postpone or diarize a task. This also we can see like how to modify the task, how to postpone the task. Okay.
Right.
Next one like
Approvals are all. This is part of the approval. Let's say you have multiple level of approval for a task, or some work has come to you.
yeah. When work has come to you, like if you want like multiple levels of approvals, like you can use like multi-instance grouping, like if like 5 approvals or 10 approvals it is required. After completion of 10 approvals only you should go to like the next one. If any of the approval got failed, like you will take some other action.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Okay, these are like the topics which are going to cover, and finally like we are working up with like a small project.
Okay.
Like what is the project is like a simple one, like a customer of a bank came to the bank, like he want to update his name or he want to update his address or he want to update the nominee details. So in such case he is going to submit the details to the bank. So the bank people is going to pass the document, they are going to like scan the document, they are going to attach the document. After that some team is going to like convert that document into XML,
Mm-hmm.
and like you have to configure a UCA, so where you receive that XML message and convert that XML to your BO structure. Once after like converting this to BO structure at the initial stage, you want to create a case and you want to transform the case, you want to insert in the case into like multiple details. This has to be done on the system. After that, like you should like process the case. In the processing case, like initially like you have to push everything into the supervisor screen. Like supervisor, one of the user of the supervisor wants to pick up the task, he can route it to like manager or some other team. Like this team, like some user has picked up the task, next time again he is routing back to the supervisor. This time like it should not be assigned to the group, it should be assigned to like supervisor who earlier worked on the particular case. We can see like how to work with the assignments, or the assignment in the sense routing logic, how to route the like suppose you are in another group, I am in another group, you picked up some task and assigned to our group, so like I worked on that, so again I'm like sending back the task. Like in your team don't know like what you asked me and what is the status of that, again I am sending back, it should be assigned only to your ID, it should not be assigned to your group ID. So like that is one like one more requirement in that is like okay, there is latter supervisor like approves whenever he takes some whatever the decision he takes, we are going to update in the database. And if we did not work on the case on like for like every day at midnight 12 o'clock, like we are going to like close the cases by the system. System will close the cases and update in the database like if the cases are being closed by the system. And we, whenever a case is created, we are providing some case reference numbers to the customer. So when the customer use that the case reference number, then what will happen? Like it will retrieve the all the case details.
Okay.
So this is like we are going to implement the project. It will take around like
Hmm.
probably might be like 10 to 15 days
Okay.
for implement this project. Okay. So this is like our part of the curriculum actually. Like these are the like major topics 34 we are going to like discuss,
Okay.
and remaining like theoretical concept first around like 4 to 5 classes it will take like theory classes like what is the architecture,
Mm-hmm.
various types of consoles and all.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Like you will be flexible with this timing only like India time 6 to 7, or you are okay with 7 to 8.
No, 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 6 to 7 is better for me because I'm in 2.5 hour ahead. So six to
Okay.
6 o'clock it becomes 8:30 here. So that is fine for me. 8:30 to 9:30.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah.
We can take 6 to 7 only. One more guy is there actually.
Okay.
He's from Bangalore.
Okay.
So I will mix up with you like
Mm-hmm.
so maybe like tomorrow also I may not be able to take it you exact 6 o'clock actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like if you want, like I can take it on like Sunday or something. Like I want to like
Tomorrow is Saturday, right? So tomorrow you have any time I can make myself available. Tomorrow Saturday, right?
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So I will do one thing like tomorrow and maybe on Sunday. Actually, we don't have any session on Sunday.
Hmm.
Every Sunday is off for us.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So like what I'm planning is like maybe like 2 to 3 classes will take on 7 to 8. Like probably like I want make you in the same track, both of you in the same track. He has completed only just four sessions.
okay, okay,
Uh, Once you are in the both in the track, so like I will take up in like same 6 to 7.
okay. So tomorrow, what time should I become?
Tomorrow, is it possible for you to at 7 to 8?
Yeah, yeah, that is
Only
possible.
for
It's
only for
holiday.
tomorrow, or yeah, yeah, tomorrow is holiday or no for you know. Okay, okay, most probably by okay. Try to join at 7 to 8 for tomorrow,
Okay.
and next on Sunday we won't be any session. Like I will be say like actually like we are having like week offs. Actually, we are working for some US clients, and in US there are some
Hmm.
holidays for Christmas holidays actually.
Yeah, yeah.
So as the has also provided us the vacation, like I'm going to my hometown. Probably like I'm starting here at like Sunday and reaching on Monday. So like if Monday I may not be able to take up the session, so we'll do one thing. We'll take on this Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is also week off for you know in
Yeah, yeah,
Singapore.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, we'll take up it on Saturday and Sunday, and Monday I'm going not able to take up the session. From Tuesday you can join on at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
So you can join at the same time, 6 o'clock. Then it will be like fine. Both will be at the same. Anyway, like these 2 days, we can make up this backup session. We
Okay.
can complete like this backup session.
Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. IST.
Yeah, Sunday 7 a.m. IST.
Saturday and
Saturday 7 a.m. Sunday 7 a.m. IST.
okay. Okay.
Okay. So now you got the idea, no? Like what are the topics we are going to discuss as a part of the our curriculum and all.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay. Like we will go with like one by one. Uh, the topic. Okay. We'll discuss in tomorrow session then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. Yeah. So I got
Yeah.
the installation details. Means I haven't downloaded yet. So is it easy to
Okay.
download? Is it easy to install and set up?
Yeah, it's easy to install. Actually, like we do have like 8.5 version. Actually, like I think IBM is now providing